This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. I'm Marek Mazurek. Agrinovus Indiana is looking for tech-enabled businesses to participate in this year's Producer-Led Innovation Challenge. The competition, which awards a $25,000 grand prize, is designed to find innovative solutions to problems farmers face on a daily basis. This year, Agrinovus aims to address ongoing labor shortages on farms as well as administrative management issues among farmers. Jeff Zentz, Senior Director of Innovation for Agrinovus, told Inside Indiana Business the number one goal of the challenge is to impact Indiana's producers in a positive way.
Pinch on the farm is very real. And so in the short term, all of the teams that are going to be participating in this year's challenges are going to be challenged to be on farm and make an impact year one. That's the most pressing issue that we've got on the plate and we want to tackle.
Applications for the Producer-Led Innovation Challenge are being accepted through September 7th. General Motors said that slowing electric vehicle sales will delay production at its new Carlisle battery plant. GM and Samsung will run the plant in St. Joseph County, and construction is underway. However, the plant won't begin producing batteries until 2027. Previously, production was expected to start in 2026. EV sales in the U.S. rose 7% in the first half of this year, though the growth is slowing. Observers say consumers worry about the range and ability to recharge while traveling. GM is expected to spend $3.5 billion on the plant, which will span 680 acres and employ around 1,600 workers. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Indiana, your bold future starts here. IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indiana Economic Development Corporation invite you to the Engage Indiana series, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. With an unrelenting focus on growing Indiana's economy, our Engage Indiana events take place in every region of the state. Discover when we'll be in your area at ibj.com/engage.
With a population of under 3,000 people, Petersburg sits about 45 minutes northeast of Evansville and hasn't seen a major housing development in over 35 years. But that's changing thanks to Ready Grant funding as the city broke ground Tuesday on the Meadows at Parkview project. Once all phases are completed, the Meadows project will feature 102 new single-family homes in a purpose-built subdivision on land that's been annexed by the city. The project is getting a little over $1.2 million in Ready 1.0 funds. The city of Petersburg is putting in $11 million, and private investment in Phase 1 will exceed $10 million. Construction will also add utilities and a multi-use pathway connecting the housing development with City Park. The city of Elkhart has set out to raise $50,000 for several light installations in the city's downtown and river district through its crowdfunding campaign on Patronicity. If the goal is achieved by September 28th, the city will receive another $50,000 in matching funds from the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority. The city wants to install 4 permanent lighting displays, including one at Civic Plaza and a 15-foot-tall lighted elk sculpture. Elkhart Festivals, Inc., the organizer of the annual Elkhart Jazz Festival, is leading the project. Researchers with the local Technical Assistance Program found that it will cost $2.4 billion in the next 10 years to eliminate all of Indiana's poorly rated local roads and bridges. It will cost almost $990 million just to preserve current road conditions. Those were some numbers presented Tuesday to the Funding Indiana Roads Task Force as lawmakers look at how to pay for much-needed work on the state's thoroughfares. The task force was convened to figure out how to fund road construction as better fuel efficiency and more electric cars means less revenue from the state's gas tax. Even if the state spent just the $990 million to preserve current conditions, at least 20% of roads statewide would have a poor rating. And the Indiana Department of Environmental Management has notified the town of Cedar Lake of concerns it has over the town's water capacity. Our partners at Lakeshore Public Media report the agency sent a letter this month noting the town is currently at 92% capacity. The IDEM estimates water usage in the town has increased by around 30% since 2020. Cedar Lake Town Council President Nick Recupito said during a utility board meeting last week that the IDM's concerns validate the council's moratorium on large-scale developments approved earlier this year. South Bend Mayor James Mueller is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast hosted by Gary Dick, presented by PNC. a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Mark Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio On Demand.